Back here on SportsLine, another guy that's really stood out to me in training camp is Jerel Casey, and he stands out all the time. He has since he ever entered the league. Back-to-back Pro Bowler, rewarded with a new 4-year contract extension before camp started. He came in bigger, stronger. That was a focus of his, to harass quarterbacks even more this year. He's always a good soundbite in the sense that he stands up, and he tries to get guys to rally behind him, and he wants this team to be excellent. He wants to himself be as good as any tackle in the entire National Football League. But I found this chat I had with Jerel yesterday particularly interesting in terms of his honesty about where he is and what he's trying to do this year with the team, and the determination that you see. I describe the entire Titans team as hungry. But no one is hungrier in that locker room than Jerel Casey. He wants this team to be great, and he wants to be a great reason why they are great. Always enjoy catching up with him, particularly yesterday.
Veterans refer to this as the dog days sometimes. Is it hard at all to keep grinding in this week and try and get better every day?
It's definitely dog days. I think it's more so the mental aspect of it all. You know, being here long hours and really just sitting around waiting to do something, or, you know, getting to the work. But at the end of the day, nowadays camps is pretty much easy. You know, a lot of people don't really like to say that about camp, but it's not like back in the old days when we got double days. So it's definitely the dog days, but the grind itself is pretty much easy. You know, coaches did a good job taking care of us, and we just got there and just make sure, you know, we stay healthy and get ready to compete. Really just the leadership group, I really believe. We got a lot of groups around here, a lot of players around here that really push our teammates and also just lead by example. You know, they see one of us slacking, that's, you know, a lot of times guys are going to follow in that routine. But all the leadership group really go out there and they push each other and work and really get out there. So I think that's what really helps. And just, you know, the mindset that the coaches talk about in there is just really if you go out there, you're going to take care of you, just work. And that's what it's all about. You know, the coach is going to show us love. You got to make sure we work for him. Back-to-back
Pro Bowl appearances for you. How is Jerel Casey better this season?
Just really trying to improve on the small things. And that's, you know, knocking people off the ball, getting off the block faster, things like that. It's small things that make sure I make one little inch of a play. You know, let a guy hold you for 1 second. That can be a deciding factor if you're going to make a play or not. And, you know, I got to get them off me. And that's the whole thing, building strength to get people off you and making sure you're able to make every play you possibly can.
You just said it there, but did I hear also that you spent a lot of time this offseason really working on upper body strength?
That was everything. You know, you got to be able to sling guys around. You got to be able to press guys up off you. And that was my whole focus this offseason, was building up my upper body strength and really be able to stay in blocks. And, you know, a lot of times I'm getting off blocks too fast sometime where, you know, they be able to wash me down here or there. But if I can hold a block up for one more 2 seconds, let a runner come to me and commit, then I can make a bigger play for a loss or whatever. So that's my whole focus, just make sure I make more plays.
It was probably 3 years ago we all walked in here and we were like, Jerel, how are you going to fit in a 3-4 defense? Like, can you even make the transition? Does that just seem crazy at this point? And is it possible to be any more comfortable now?
It definitely is crazy. When I first came out, I had meetings with them a couple times and really didn't think it was going to work out for me. But when they told me, you know, at the end of the day, I just said, you know what? I'm a man of conquering things. And at the end of the day, they said I couldn't play 3 technique. I was too small. Came in and destroyed that. They said I was going to be able to play 5 technique because I was too small. I wasn't big enough. I wasn't fast enough or whatever. Came in and conquered that, and now it's just really going out there, conquering, making sure I'm stuck around this league to make sure I'm in the Hall of Fame. And at the end of the day, I'm going to conquer that. So that's part of it.
You've thrown some pretty lofty goals out there in terms of numbers in past years. Do you have any numbers you want to post up there?
10 plus, and I can't do nothing less. 2013, I was up there, and I know I can do it. So therefore, I got to make sure I get back there again. And, you know, and that all going to come back with the guys around me. They out there performing. You know, I got Derek, Rakpo, got Daquan, and these guys been bringing it all camp. So at the end of the day, it's a competition between all of us. But at the end of the day, we're all going to work together and make sure we compete and make sure we help out this team to win.
And the competition is what's maybe been most impressive about this Titans training camp so far, because guys like Jerel Casey, who are Pro Bowlers, are bringing it every day, and that's driving other guys like Brian Arakpo and Derek Morgan and Sly Williams and the secondary and the offensive guys to bring their best every day. And that iron sharpens iron belief, trying to make this team a better football team. One that hasn't reached the playoffs since 2008. Now so much for expectations heading into this year. And they'll tell you their goal in that locker room is to win the division. And that is the first step. You win the division, you'll be in the playoffs, and you'll have a home game. And then from there, anything can happen. That absolutely, unequivocally is the goal for the Titans this year. Competition is great until it spills over into a brawl, which is what happened today at Titans camp. That was maybe a low light of an otherwise very competitive practice. Sloppy at times, but they did a lot of the organizational things that you have to do, get ready for a game today. A lot of special teams changes, things like that. Mike Mularkey explains that coming up as well. But you could tell afterwards he was a little frustrated with some of that execution, but also certainly the way things got out of control in that goal line drill when Avery Williamson went up against Quentin Spain, and many players on the team, I mean probably half the team, got involved in pushing and shoving and what ultimately became a brawl down there at the goal line. Here's Mike Mularkey after practice.
How are we?
Hey,
Good, doing good. Go ahead, I'll just take questions.
Coach, obviously you don't like the fight, but did you like the response after it that you got?
Yeah, I did. You mean that we didn't have another one?
No, did practice go well after? Were they able to?
It did. Yeah, it went better. It did. You know, again, the juices are flowing, and a lot of you know, a little hotter today, a little harder practice. But yeah, they responded. It was a situational period that we had a lot going on, and some of the things with the situation, which are going to take place Saturday night, especially with the substitution, the special teams, was not clean. So I wasn't happy about that afterwards, but I was happy that we cleaned it up. No more pushing and shoving. That's unnecessary. So.
Do you ever like to see that type of thing? I mean, obviously you want some aggression, but
you can be as aggressive. When that ball snapped, you can do some things you can't do out on the street. And when the whistle blows, I want you to stop doing that. So no, I don't like it. It's not taught. It's not talked about. It's not tough. It's undisciplined, and undisciplined will get you beat. So I don't like it.
How important is the situational stuff to do, like you're talking about today, before the first preseason game?
Critical, because it would have been a mess Saturday night. And again, obviously we got to do it more before Saturday because it wasn't clean enough. Again, the special teams coaches have a lot on their hands with 90 guys on that sideline. They're going to have one more game with 90 guys on their sideline. They got to have a little help from the players anticipating what. That's some of the stuff I talked about. They got to know the situation as much as a special teams coach. We can't go be looking for you. You should know what's about to happen.
You guys had Stevens and Fasano the past 2 years, obviously the real good blockers. Does anything change this year in that respect, or does Supernova, is he the kind of guy who can fit right into
Well,
that?
we got some guys there still, Jerome and Tim and John New, who's, again, he'll put his face in there and try to block you. We're still trying to find who and what plays they block best. There's some specific plays that takes a kind of player you want to at that point. So we're still finding that out. That's what this training camp's about. Can't do it in the off season. You got to do it here when the pads are on.
Those guys are kind of few and far between for the most part. Like guys like Stevens and Fasano, you don't run into those kind of guys.
Yeah, Craig is unique. I'll say that. I mean, I wouldn't put Anthony's a good blocker, but I wouldn't put him in the same class as Craig Stevens.
What do you feel is important to tell the rookies before their first NFL game?
Try to calm the nerves. They got a full day leading up to the game that they'll wear themselves out before they even get a chance to perform and compete. So, if they know their stuff, it's certainly much more, the confidence is definitely better for you. If you have any doubt about what you're doing, that nervous energy is going to catch them at some point.
Any idea how many of these guys your rookies, never been to an NFL game, this is their first experience?
I don't know. That might be a good question to ask them. I may ask him that. Ask me tomorrow, Joe.
Quentin Spain's a guy you've always talked about. You like his aggressive style of play. How much, though, are you starting to see the benefits of experience from a guy who's been in that job for a little while now?
It helps anytime the line can, be with each other as long as they've been. It's just that the line calls are. Nobody's caught off guard with them. They expect them, just like I was talking about special teams. They should expect what's coming. Yeah, he's come a long way since he's got here.
Coach, there for a second, Decker was down and he stretched out. I couldn't see his face from the angle that I was at. I don't know if there was any pain. Anything to be concerned about?
No, he's constantly stretching. A lot of these guys are that way.
Mike,
What do you hope to see from Marcus?
Just executing like everybody else at a high level, operating our offense like we know he can, just like hasn't missed a beat since his injury.
Will it be based on production or just number of plays, how long he stays in?
We'll probably go in with a number of plays and see how productive we are. So that's kind of the target.
Jerel says he came back with an emphasis to be stronger this year. Have you seen that, and how has that impacted his game?
He's hard to block every year I've been here, so it can't do anything but help his game. You watch him in the pass rushes, he does 2 to everyone else's 1. I mean, he wants to compete, and I told him about that contract or no contract, the guy's going to come out here and compete every day. And no matter what the situation is, he's going to do that and try to get better every day, and he does.
Make a nice tribute to Glenn Campbell during the early portion of practice. Do you have any hand in that? And if so, what made you want to do it?
John just emailed me, thought, what about this? I thought it was a great idea. When should we do it? I thought during stretch would be good, and I thought it was good for this team. I think there's a lot of Glenn Campbell fans on there, including me.
Hard not to hum a little bit?
Yeah, they still were. And then his next period, they were still Matt Castle. Rhinestone Cowboy was going on in the huddle. So. Pretty cool stuff today, as the Titans did honor Glenn Campbell before practice with a lot of their music. Several guys, Philip Supernaw, Matt Castle, were certainly among those guys who were singing along with that music out there. Again, our phone lines are open, 737-7767, if you'd like to jump in on the conversation. John has decided to do just that. John, thanks for the call tonight. You're next up here on SportsLine.
Yeah, I want to know, I know you got the ins and outs and everything and history of football, but I want to know why nobody don't emphasize what the 46 defense was all about. They won Super Bowls and everything, but from Buddy Ryan and all of them, and I don't understand why people don't recognize and give these people their props. And also, I want to know why the Titans insisted on putting up all these points. If the defense can't hold them, what you should have all the offense? I mean, you ain't talking about no defense really to enforce nothing. Because when a team like New England come here, if they ever meet them in the playoff or whatever, they're in a world of trouble if they don't have no defense. So let's me and you talk about that.
All right. Thanks, John. Appreciate the call. Look, there's no question. The Titans defense has to play better, and it has to play better on the back end. Up front, they were good. They were 3rd in the league against the run last year. They had a bunch of sacks. They now have 3 guys on the roster that had over 10 sacks last season. You have Jerel Casey, who's been in that range before in his career as a Pro Bowler up front. I don't worry about the front 7. Their job this offseason was to upgrade the secondary and be better back there. We'll find out if they are, because that is the problem. Last year they gave up too many 3rd downs and longs when you need to get off the field. They were stuck out there. They gave up points more than they should have last year because that defense couldn't get off the field. You're right. You can score all the points you want on offense. If you can't stop people, it's going to be a long, long journey in the NFL. And they believe this defense with this secondary, with that front 7, is going to stop some people. So they believe this defense is going to be pretty good. The 46 defense question, I mean, it was great for Buddy Ryan. It did a lot of good things there. It's been used well in the past. It's less used today because I think the prevalence of the quarterback and the spread offense and things like that, it just makes it a little harder for it to work. But what you see now in the NFL more than anything is you see multiple. The Titans are 3-4. That's the way Dick LeBeau wants his team to be, with the 4 linebackers rushing, the 2 guys rushing from the outside. That's how he wants his defense to be based. But you'll see those linebackers move around. You'll see 4 guys down. There's a lot of hybrid stuff to anything that's run in the NFL these days. And so sometimes you'll see some of that 46 nature from the Buddy Ryan days seep into other people's stuff. And I think that's the credit. I don't know if you need people like me talking about it. I think the credit is when something that you put in sort of spans and transcends an era and goes into a new era, and guys are pulling pieces of it or pulling big chunks of it and making it a part of their defense. And you see that every day in the NFL today, and that's why Buddy Ryan is so revered as one of the best defensive masterminds in the game all time. Let's go back to the phones now, and Jim. Jim, good evening.
Hey, Steve, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for the call.
Hey, listen, I'm going to make a prediction here for the Titans this year. 13-3.
Wow.
13-3. They're gonna surprise a lot of teams out here. And 13-3. Just remember that. And I'm gonna love it when they're kicking somebody's tail end up and down that field. But that's my prediction, 13-3.
Well, Jim, we appreciate that prediction. I think a lot of people would appreciate that prediction if it plays out, because this Titans team has raised the expectations around here. There's no question about that.
I agree.
Well, Jim, we appreciate the call tonight. 13-3. Now, that would be a huge step for this team. Remember, they haven't been to the playoffs since 2008, so to get to 13-3 would be huge improvement. I think they're going to win the division. I think they can probably do that with 10 wins, 11 wins for sure. So we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. But 13-3, I mean, that would put you probably in a bye situation in the playoffs, not just a home field for one game division champion thing. So we would love to see that. As many games as you can play at Nissan Stadium, as much energy as you can see in this town. We obviously saw it with the Predators when they went on that run. Anytime there was a game in Nashville, it was just a party all around downtown. If you could have a couple of those type of Sunday afternoons or Saturday evenings in the playoffs, what fun would that be here in this city? We got to take a break. We'll come back and hear from Marcus Mariota on the other side here on News Channel 5 Plus.